Okay, welcome all to the January 8th, 2025 meeting of the Dudley Board of Water and Sewer Commissioners. I have to advise everyone that this meeting is being recorded. And we start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That's a typo. Minutes of December 6th?
December 4th.
December 4th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for December 4th as written.
Second that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Number 4 has been removed from the agenda. The Eagle Drive Water Main Project. The engineering firm has sent a proposal to the town for that project, but they asked for water department input to review it. Did you get a chance to review it, George?
Yep.
Did you find anything?
Well,
Concern?
the two tie-ins from Gentex and from Joseph Street involve easements, involve going under a stream, involve areas that I think you guys know who owns. That being said, I don't know how much that is added cost to a system that is going to be looped in, but it's what everybody works it out to be.
Well, this is the engineering portion of it.
Yeah.
It's being paid for with grant money, so the town itself does not have to come up with any. I printed that off the day it came out, and I went through it with my notes are in the margins. The major thing that I came up with is that we have involvement. When they wrote it up, they have obviously George is involved in it, but they also have representation of the commission as well, written in. There are a couple of other little notes in the margins. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to take a look at it.
Mr. Chairman, I did talk to Jeff Faulkner about that thing. They're still doing more review. Going to be doing a lot of investigations and things like that. So this is just a preliminary.
Yeah, this is.
setup.
It's for engineering. They're not putting a shovel in the ground. And some of the comments, all the underlines that are in there are things that I underlined as taxpayer and not as water commissioner. So, concerns that things that I think might be concerning as we go on.
Good point, Mr. Chairman. Why are you acting as a taxpayer?
Well, because when I read that and I looked at it from both directions, as a commissioner and as a taxpayer. Most of the time, it was just things to be aware of. One of a major being if one of the residents says something along the lines of, no, you can't come and do survey work on my property, and then decide later on that, oh, well, yeah, you know what, now you can, after they've already been through. They said that there's going to be added cost. There's things like that are in there. Things that really don't concern us. A lot of it doesn't really concern. It's just involvement in the engineering and when we get that we get copies of the 50 and the 90%, and then that sort of thing, and whether or not peer review is needed, or at what point we put peer review in. we get peer review into
So,
this.
Mr. Chairman, my concern is that there needs to be some level of documentation there that we have sign off on through engineering, because you don't want them to get to 50% CDs and then we look at it and realize this is not good for the system or for the ratepayer.
Mhm. And that's, those notes are in there.
Like,
Um,
in all fair, to all respect, there's nobody in the town that has the qualifications to review these plans and understand what they're looking at.
Is this project going through the planning board?
I do not know.
Because for peer review, we shouldn't be paying for peer review, so that should be a 53G account set up to fund the peer review.
And the planning board is the only people that can set that up.
Yeah.
And just as an FYI, there is currently no town planner. Just so you know.
No, you guys are up
Hey,
front.
guys, over there.
You guys are up front. So, that's what I had for, yeah, I mean, my notes are in there, Ben, if anybody wants a hard copy of it, you can print the hard copy of it. There's quite a few pages.
Do we know if the town was bidding engineering services, or are they just,
I do not believe so. I
Okay.
believe this is they're gonna use that same firm that we use, and if, that creates that, I did have lunch with Jeff Faulkner last Friday, and I voiced that concern. There's, where this engineering is being done for another entity, basically. Is it going to be, is it right?
and that goes back, that's my point, that we should be, in some level, the final sign off on engineering documents so that we are accepting a design that we agree to.
That's what our peer review is for.
Yeah.
We need the engineers that we hire to review the plans. Go back with comments.
It sounds like everybody's got a little bit of the,
That's what I'm moving over there.
all right. Okay, so in any case, it's their, did they say when they wanted an answer? I know they want, per the schedule, I think they're looking for a January approval.
So if you
To
want
move
to
forward.
send me anything and I can compile, absolutely.
Okay. Tie and bond correspondence.
I sent you an email today.
There was one correspondence about the French River Interceptor
Mhm.
coming from Jericho. And it's, to be honest, I read it and didn't understand some of what she was saying, but
It's a little vague.
I understood it, but it doesn't really tell us a whole lot. But it appears that the flow is pretty normal until it gets to the intersection with the interceptor that we believe has the problems, the one that comes from West Main Street. And so I guess we're waiting on the, it says summary memo should be coming soon. It doesn't say when.
A lot of work that was done on the interceptor, was that due to the project around the middle school?
No, that was done just because it came up in conversation that we have a flow problem with it backing up on West Main Street, but we didn't know, is that causing any of it? is there inflow or infiltrate, is there I on that line that's causing, during the severe weather, is causing everything else to back
I
up?
think this went back, Bob, to the time when we had that rainstorm and they found, and Webster had a numerous amount of clear water. And that's when we started making our concentration over by Napa, over by the manholes in there.
There's manholes right down along the edge of the river.
Right, but we didn't investigate any of that when we were doing the interceptor project to evaluate that?
That was coming in as part of it. He was taking the section over by Progress first and hydraulically looking at that. And then I suggested we look at that area down there because I ended up going out, we had to uncover a lot of manholes that were covered up and stuff. I mean, it's in the report, but make a long story short, the whole avenue from Oxford Ave runs along the river down towards Napa was full of problems. I mean, problems. So it's taken us 3 months to just about get that cleaned up and sorted out. So right now, the flow's good. There's no obstructions in there. But the manholes down by the river are still the attention that they're trying to look at because of if there's heavy rains.
If the river come up
They're
high
not
enough so
far.
that it's just flowing right into the,
Yeah.
right into the,
The concern is that we had 2 or 3 staff in the sewer department. We don't have a wastewater plant. And we haven't identified these problems prior. I'm just concerned as to what are the 2 or 3 staff doing if we're not out investigating the collection system. It's an awful lot of man hours sitting around if you're just checking pump stations.
Well, that was back, like I said, that was back when we thought that was going on to a point, but now we've taken care of that, so. But the investigative work was ongoing still, so we were taking it in sections as they were doing that lining and all that stuff.
sewer position,
Scheduling.
no, scheduling. I asked to have that put on. I had stopped in to the office one day and there was, the one that came up was Toomey. We need to make sure that all, any vendors coming in or any work coming in, contractors coming in, that it gets, that it's on the schedule in the office. I think there's been some issues where stuff hasn't been on the calendar. It has to be centralized on that calendar in the office.
He just happened to call us 2 weeks ago off the cuff that he was available. I took advantage of it, and I also put in that
Yeah,
I
just-
want more
just
surveyed that.
Put it through the office, though. That's just, if we don't have a central calendar, then, there's just too much going on to not being able, that's just my opinion. But that's, let's keep things scheduled. Have folks call into the office. I had asked that, I don't know, it just seems to me that we should have
Sounds like a good idea, so everybody's on the same page.
central calendar so that, if there are people out or people have scheduled appointments or are away on vacation, they can all be coordinated.
Yeah, I think there's some value that, like, we signing these recs, so you can cross-reference dates to invoices and just make sure, when somebody says they were here on the 6th, they were actually here on the 6th.
And the sewer position,
Mr. Chairman, did you happen to skip over 329?
that was taken off the agenda.
Oh, okay.
Per the,
Yeah, it was, the owner was going to be coming in, but he now has a buyer, and the buyer has asked him to hold off because nothing's transferable, and this buyer doesn't need to have it in hand, so.
okay. So I guess there was a question about, what's the status of filling the open position?
Right now, if the position is vacant, which it is, through the union, we would post it. One in the sewer assistant, the assistant position wants to take it, and he's perfectly qualified to do so, including his licenses for water. He would move up to that position, and we would fill the assistant position per the contract. So you have 2 weeks of lead time to do it, and then if
What do
nobody.
you mean, move up?
Move up to the operator position right now that's open, the open vacant position. He would fill that position, and then we would post for his open position when he leaves it. And then we'd be open up to like the highway or whatever, and if they don't take it, we go elsewhere.
Haven't we, I thought we were discussing, I don't know,
We need that position.
do we need that higher position?
Well, he's been fulfilling the role of that position very good. You know, I mean, if you keep him at that position without any way of advancement, he's probably gonna look elsewhere, because he's got all his licenses in, and he knows this somewhat of the system now. So, I mean, you're talking, you know, what are you gonna put in, two labor positions, like assistant and laborer? I mean,
We changed the,
See, the positions are, the position that is currently filled right now is sewer collection operator.
right. So sewer collection operator, and what, the retirement was out of which?
Main collection systems operator.
it's just a step higher.
I've got sewer laborer operator and sewer secondary operator.
Those are old.
Those are old, those are the old ones.
Yep.
Okay.
I just printed one of each if you wanna look at them, or, and then I printed the water sewer laborer, just so you had.
Okay, well, but has anything been done to hire that second person on? Yeah.
Not, positions haven't been open, they finally got open now. That one position is open now. So, we only have two positions right now.
Right.
So that, one is filled, one is now available. There was a labor position for a fill-in, just to get acclimated to the job last year.
Okay, yeah, we're not talking about the laborer, we've got the operator.
That's right, you got assistant operator and you've got the main operator.
No, you have a sewer collection operator and a main collection system operator. Those are the wordings through the union. Just I took the ones the unions gave us.
Everybody's been
So
changing
that's-
wording on that.
That's the open
That's
position.
what
Okay.
the union
That's
gave
the
us.
current position filled.
But that doesn't
Correct.
mean we have to hire into both of them.
Those are the ones that were sent in, and the union approved them. Those are the ones that had all come. I think they originated here.
Yes. You know, what the title is. So you got main and you've got,
Collection.
and sewer collection. A sewer collection operator and a main collection operator.
What's the duties difference?
One delegates the work and makes sure the work's done, and the other one carries out the work mainly.
Works under the direction of the superintendent, and this one works under the direction of the main sewer operator. I thought we were gonna eliminate that position. We were talking about eliminating this position here and hiring two people into the sewer collections operator. Isn't that, but I thought that's what we were, but that's what we need to get a second person hired in. We can hire it in, obviously, we're not gonna hire him in at the higher rate, into the higher position, unless somebody comes through that's already got all the licenses and everything else.
That's the guy now who's presently there.
He has licenses. for
He's got the
water.
water licenses, and he's got the knowledge of the system for the last year and a half, 2 years. And he's been doing the job now,
Well, what's the job?
running the sewer department.
Who's he delegating to?
He answers to me, so he goes
You said
and,
that the difference is that the main one delegates the work to the assistant, the operator. If he has no operator, how's he doing the?
I'm delegating work through him to
So
get
you're
done.
doing the main operator
Yeah.
position, so he's not doing the main operator.
Well, he is, he's helping me too. If there's something that needs to be done, he's identifying it and letting me know. And then we make a plan, but we need help from my department a lot to carry out these things, because
They're both your departments, you know that, right?
yeah, I know that. What I'm saying is they need to delegate, when I delegate work to him, he's also informing me of what other things are going on and what his recommendations are, that kind of things, because he has nobody to delegate it to. That's
my
That's
point,
him.
is He doesn't have anyone to delegate it to, and if you're saying the difference between the main and the operator is that he delegates to the operator. If he doesn't have an operator, he hasn't been doing the main position the whole time, he's been doing the operator position. You've been doing the main operator position.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the work is, he's delegating it to himself. He's doing the work himself. And if he has a problem, he's coming to me, or if I find something needs to be done, I'm telling him what we need to do. Making arrangements for stuff, or whatever.
Okay, the bottom line, well, do we need the second person?
Yes, yes.
Instead of the second one, just by the nature of the work.
Yes, you can't, you
Can't have
can't
one
go
guy
down in
do
a hole
work.
by
Man
yourself.
After manholes without an observer.
I just,
If you're telling what to do now,
Not all the time. I'm watching what he's doing, he's giving me information, and we're making a plan of attack if this, and believe me, there's been a lot of plans of attack that have been done. So I'm not gonna get into it right now. But we've had to do a lot of backstepping to fix a lot of things and get a lot of things corrected. He's been involved in that.
So you have a plan in place to fix the stuff that,
We've already been doing it in the last 3 months with the help of the water department personnel.
I mean, to make sure that
Yeah.
stuff doesn't fall through the cracks.
This is why it's been done. That's why we've been devoting our time to this for the last 3 months, to get that system back in operation where it should be. Case in point, that riverbed was a mess. This was stuff that I thought was getting done, was told to me that it was getting done, and it wasn't getting done.
You have something in place now to verify.
Yes, yes, my eyesight, what, checking it.
I think if we had just hire a second operator, you can delegate to both of them what needs to be done.
Well, you have to give them the ability to do what they need to do without having to keep answering to me. I don't want to micromanage them, their job, especially when they may know a little bit more than I do because they're out in the field more. But that's the whole idea of the primary or main operator. I don't even know what you call them anymore. You get so many different names of them. Call it the main operator, the one that's vacant right now. That person would come in and fill that position, and that would take over delegating the work. They'd still report to me, but they make sure that work gets done, like it has not been getting done, which I'm not getting into right now. But through him, the work is now been got done. So we're in pretty good shape come beginning of winter.
is the two. Anybody else wants to? We've been through this process over and over and over again. I just don't. We've been talking for the last year about eliminating that level is really not necessary where it's a collection system. There's not a whole lot of extra responsibility there that warrants having someone in I don't know. We don't have the pay scales in front of us, the differences. We're gonna need, we need to get that position filled, and I mean, to me, I would, you
Well, it seems,
need to move forward with hiring another collections operator. If they're two, we don't have to hire somebody into every position. We can hire multiples into one, into the same, at the same level. Promotions just for the sake of promotions isn't
I
always.
agree. I think if we hire
smart
one
to
into
do.
the other position and see how it goes, if you're overseeing it, George, then, I mean, yeah, you know, I know you're relying on them.
You rely on their knowledge, and that's a smart manager.
It's hard for me to be there 24/7 with them, okay? I've got enough problems on our own side with lack of manpower right now and throughout the course. We got a lot of things coming up on the water side, okay? So by having that person in place, like what the other one previously was doing, is ordering chemicals, dealing with other things, inspections, certain things like that, making sure jetting is getting done in certain areas, which this individual is familiar with, these areas that we now need to do because he's been involved with us to,
But you could,
I oversee it, I can make sure it's getting done, so he would answer to me to say, yeah, we've done this, we've done that.
make that part of his job task is, okay, order chemicals, or,
That's what his responsibilities were, was to make sure the chemicals, the stations were done, whatever had to be done, inspections of the stations, correct, fix problems, notify contractors that come in and fix things and do stuff like that. You know, I've been kind of taking that role right now to do that, and it takes a lot of my time too, and it takes away from the water side too. So I'm trying to balance act things, but we've had a lot of issues there because of past practices. So I'm trying to alleviate that past practice and do the right stuff and make sure it's managed properly.
Just be devil's advocate here, union thought process.
Sure.
If you're hiring two of these guys, the
Mhm.
lower end guys,
Mhm.
you've got no customer service unless he's doing all the work. Because this one here basically says that this man will take care of all the problems, all the customers, he'll deal with anything that comes up. This guy's just there to install, do the work, keep his mouth shut, and go home. Just being a
Correct.
devil's advocate. That's what the position is written for.
personally, I like a little bit of structure there, because to have multiple direct reports never works well.
But you're broken out into two entities,
Yeah.
still. So you still need what, GF, he's the super.
Somebody-
You've got GF, which is this guy.
but he's a
and you've
super
got
of
to
both
work-
departments.
But
You're absolutely correct. But when you look at a union status, there's a tier level that ends up coming down. So if he's the superintendent and you got a worker in the field and he ignores the customer, that's just gonna set things up and fire it all the way back up, but it's gonna take a while to get back to that.
just to piggyback on what Sean was saying, the other problem is if they're two at the same level, one's gonna say, well, gee, I don't have to listen to you, you're not my boss.
There's
you
no
don't-
hierarchy or structure.
You know, I can't be
Shouldn't
there.
have to listen to each other, because they're both union brothers. You're the one that's supposed to be telling what to do.
Union brothers don't mean anything, and some of these kids have their things, they, hey, I don't have to do that, that's not my job. Or, no, why, who
Well,
are
it
you to
is their job,
delegate?
if you tell them it's their job.
Not every, I'm not always there to do every little thing, you know, they're gonna keep coming running to me all the time, saying, well, this one's picking, this one's not listening, that's dysfunctional. That's not functioning correctly. You need some kind of level of authority, even below me, to manage that department. It's still a separate department. I know overall see it, but it's still a separate department, so it needs structure.
It's still a separate department, but union-wise, the worker listens to the union member, the union manager. He's a superintendent, non-union. So there's gonna be banging going on, and there's gonna be adversarial work going on.
So on the water side, how is it? I'm just curious to try to
Yeah,
understand.
We've
the
got a primary operator down.
So then
and
the primary tells the secondary, well, the other primary what to do, and the primary tells Timmy what to do? You don't tell them what to do?
The primary operator would go down, he actually would tell the
I'm just trying
distribution
to
operator what to
understand.
do, and the next level down what to do.
So you
And-
don't
but
give
they-
them daily tasks, because you wouldn't be doing it for sewer, so you won't be doing it for water.
I I go over and I have a meeting with the primary operator, and I go over what we're coming into, what we have to do, okay, which I just did the other day. Here's what we need to do. He sort of delegates his side to make sure we're getting into what we need to have done there, and moves it down to the other levels. Hey, you guys are doing meter work today, call the next guy down to help, or he can do this or that. We have a nice functioning relationship where everybody does what they need to do, and they help everybody too, including the sewer, if it's needed. And they don't have to. It's not required of their job to help the sewer. But they do it, and they have they give me no complaints. And they go out of their way to help them.
That's what I've been
Just so I have it, thank you.
fighting for, you know, for years now, is getting these guys working together. They don't have to. That goes right up me sideways. Yeah, you do have to. If you're told you need to go help them do this job, you need to go help do the job.
That's the union, and the union files grievances on that.
Well,
I'm sorry,
file
that's
a
the way,
grievance.
well, they can do it, and they win it. I can't force them. But they don't give me any
That's what we're
problems.
trying to, you know. All right, so, in any case, so what do we want to do with this?
I'd like to hold off on it until we get the pay scales and see what we're actually talking about.
Well, can we post a position for the operator?
Yeah, and then we could deal
And you
with
can make a
promotion.
decision after whether we promote the current operator to the higher level. Or you hire, I mean, either way, you're gonna hire an operator, right? Or do you plan on hiring a main operator?
I was planning on hiring the main operator, which is the position vacant now, because I'm getting confused with all these terminologies.
Right, but you're-
And then the assistant, I call it the assistant operator, main operator, whatever you want to call it. The one that's filled right now would be the
We
one
don't
that
have
person.
a-
So are you gonna post for a main operator?
I'd like to post for main operator, but if you don't plan on moving him in a position, then
Well, I mean, if your intent is to move the person that's currently there to the main operator, then it doesn't matter, we post an operator position. And then you hire the operator, and if we decide to move.
If we decide to move somebody up, we can move somebody up.
But if you plan on posting it externally to hire a main operator and find somebody more qualified, then, you know, post for a main operator. But if your sole intention is to move internally, then there's no reason to post a main operator. Post an operator, we can make a decision after that.
well, union gets first dibs on it anyway, so guys which don't qualify, any of them aren't qualified for it, or they'd have to start at the other end. We have one guy that's gonna get it, you know who it is. He's qualified.
So post an operator.
All right. I hope I got the right terminology.
Make that a motion?
Yes, please.
Make a motion that we post the operator position on the wastewater collection.
Second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded, thank you. Any further discussion?
Do we have the right titles?
It is
Yeah,
the,
Collection
Collection
operator
operator.
is the
Thank
one
you.
you're looking
Yeah.
for.
Yes.
The system operator is the higher position.
Sewer collection operator.
Okay, so motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous.
I'll have the pay scales for the next meeting.
Okay, and we can figure out what we're doing.
I'll have the posting tomorrow.
Okay, it's that time of year again. I believe, the town usually starts the review process in January. This is the beginning of the month, they haven't started it yet?
No, so usually they'll start with, you meet, you go over preliminary. Usually George will start mine in the next month or so. And then we sit and discuss so that by the time June comes around, everything's,
Done, okay.
yep.
So that process is going to be kicking off soon, so I guess once the town kicks down the review.
Oh,
They-
you start anytime.
Oh,
They don't-
okay.
This is just,
Same form,
Huh?
same form from last year?
same form.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
what
so
they use.
if we have the form, oh, yeah.
I can email out the form to everybody again,
the- the-
if you'd like it. If you need it, let me know.
Non-union employees get raises this year, this past 2024?
Yes,
Not me.
based on reviews.
Yeah, well, my review was done last month, 2 months ago.
And it was based on your review, is basically what I'm told.
Okay, budget review. That's in front of you. Sewer's in front.
Will we make it through on the sewer operating budget? 74%.
We're at, currently we're at, looks like we're,
January, we're roughly 50% of the year.
yep, yeah, 50, yeah, by looking at the salaries, we're at 50%. So we're over on that, we're over on a couple of items.
Have we got anywhere on indirects?
Nope.
Not yet.
I have-
Yeah, she reached, did you get any reply to the email last week?
That he knew that I would be contacting him, and he's working on it, and he asked for the next 3 meeting dates, and he will be coming to one of the meetings prior to March, because I said we need to have budget by March. So,
And then, if we need to schedule
yeah,
an
I
off
told him
meeting,
that.
we'll do that.
I told him.
All the expenses from the main operator in here?
Yes. Well, no. You mean the retro?
Yeah, whatever we're
Yes,
gonna expend.
but no. So they would not, a warrant article had to be done for the amount from April to July 1st.
That's not, that's on water.
Oh, sorry.
We're talking sewer.
I apologize, I was thinking. Yes, as far as I know so far, because everything else was coming out of a separate account that had been, from what I'm told by the accountant and the treasurer.
All right, I just
A
wanna make sure there's
retirement
money
account.
for the position we just voted to hire.
Yes. Sorry.
And you'll notice that engineering has gone over. Evidently, when we did a warrant article at the last town meeting, it wasn't treated as a warrant article, and those expenses were applied against engineering, which forced us over. I don't understand how that works.
What was
If
the wording in the warrant
a
article
warrant article was voted
at town meeting?
at
Yeah.
town meeting.
Yeah, for retained earnings. So I've been talking with the old accountant, because this was fiscal year 2024, and it was applied to the engineering line item, not a warrant article.
It said it came out of retained earnings, it's not out of the budget.
Correct. So I'm now working with the new accountant too, we're trying to get this, because that's why last, you had said about, so I went back and looked, and that's what, it didn't carry over, so I'm trying to get it rectified.
Because then we wouldn't have to have a warrant article if it was just coming out of our operating budget.
Correct.
We would just spend it.
Correct.
And the
So,
retire,
Brian-
oh, go ahead.
So, sorry, Brian's aware of it, and he said, just keep pulling it this way till we get it straightened out. Just so you
And-
know.
And the retirement is still the retirement, that's been the same since day one. And then on water,
Engineering over on sewer.
that's what we were just talking about.
Oh, that's it. we were talking about.
Yep. And then retirement and insurance have both gone over because the numbers were plugged in last minute after we had already created the budget.
So we should probably be starting budgeting now.
Mhm.
So can we get some correspondence going? Let's say we need numbers ahead of time. It's kind of ridiculous that we're $25,000 behind financially because of the lack of work that, according to our indirect, we pay a significant amount for that position to give us numbers.
That's
think,
exactly exactly
We should have a
what, that's what I
significant amount
said.
of his
What I was-
attention to our budget.
Is that not what I said?
Yep.
We had a conversation before the meeting started,
And I
before
talked-
anybody else got here.
I was talking about this earlier today as well, and we're,
And it's just very
Starting.
irritating to me that we
Yep.
try to budget and we're starting off negative 25 because of insufficient data we're getting from other departments.
That we're paying for.
That we're paying a significant amount.
And they're on lines that we have no control, so.
sorry.
Sorry.
Okay.
When I email, I will CC I always CC the chair, and then I will CC, sometimes I CC Justin or I CC you. I just like to have, so that you see what I am doing. That I'm doing it.
And I don't think there's an issue with CCing the entire board as long as there's no communication back
Yeah.
and forth from us.
I can do that, that's fine. Yeah,
It's just
don't-
for informational purposes only.
Yep.
You can,
I
You
just
can
like
even,
to.
you can even put them into the, well, can we use BCC in municipal world?
Mhm.
You can even do that.
I just like to
we
cover
just
my.
can't correspond back and forth, we can't deliberate over anything. so.
Right,
I just like to cover my butt.
thank you.
Mhm.
And then the other page is receivables to date. Happen to notice that lien number is creeping up towards the $200,000 amount. We've got 200,000 liened, and we've got 282,000 outstanding.
You got anywhere on the shop?
They're in the process, I'm doing them right now, and they're going out. Yep,
I can tell you that helps get that number down.
yep. And I,
George, you got plenty of paint?
Once I start painting, you'll see the money start rolling in.
I will say that a couple of the names that have been on there for the past couple years, I don't know if people are watching the meetings and if they've heard about it. But they've made some payments, which has, I was pleasantly surprised. So,
It's very smart.
yep, but they'll be going out within the next.
There are
week.
many people who just leave their water bills and they just don't pay them, and then, because they know it's just gonna get liened to property tax, so they let it lean, they pay a little extra, and they pay it in their property tax bill.
They get the right to property tax bill off.
But, yeah. So we can't, and in the meantime, our customers are
Foot in the bill.
footing the bill for $200,000 of uncollected.
So by next month, you'll have a report of what I sent out, if we've got anything in, if there's been any correspondence yet and what stages we're at,
Okay,
hopefully.
any questions on any of that?
Well, I am curious how the liens keeps going up month by month.
Well, yeah, it stayed 156 for 3/4, no, that's 10, 11, 12. But that went up significantly that went up did they lean in August and September?
What's my point is how they.
It went down and then it went back up
One
again.
time in like
December,
November,
he
December.
does
They
the
all-
beginning of December.
But, so what happened in
Between August and September.
August,
I have
September,
no idea.
October?
I still went in the same way, but I don't know.
That's why I'm curious
Okay,
how numbers
alright.
are jumping around when you only do liens once a year, that number should be
Consistent,
set.
right.
And then, unless there were some payments against the liens,
How do we go up?
which would cause it to go down, but why that jump in October? What happened there? It jumped in October and stayed the same in October, November, and December.
But then jumped another 42,000.
Yeah, in January, that's the new liens. But then our outstanding amount's still quite high. We're
And the bills were due on the 12th,
But if they only do,
on January 12th or
December 12th.
December 12th, so we're getting to a month overdue
if
for
if
some.
you do liens in December,
Right.
how do we have $144,000 in August? Because when are they collecting third quarter tax bill?
Yes, so that shouldn't have,
So that number should go down to zero.
Correct,
It should be collected through the taxes.
if they pay their taxes.
And if they don't pay their taxes, are we doing tax takings to move forward with collecting money?
I don't know, and this is something that I was speaking with the new accountant about, is because she was asking this information, because she's trying to understand. So we're trying to come up with, like, somehow he reports more information to us of what's going on.
We've tried that for years. As long as I've been here, we've been asking for more information. I've never got it.
And I did explain, you know, and so, because, like I said, I said to her, I don't know what properties have been liened unless I go in, and I would
Through
think,
the new billing software.
correct, I would think there would be some notification. And she said she thinks she should get notification where she's, and so that's information that we're trying to work on and see. So,
Did she get into the same program you guys do?
she sees a different side of it. She sees the accounting side. I only see the utility side of it. Everybody has access to different parts.
So who has access to all the parts?
The treasurer.
The one that's not giving us the complete information.
The one person that has the oversight of everything doesn't disseminate information, and numbers don't seem to add up to make sense.
And I don't know, we signed bill vouchers, but
They
there's
don't get paid.
there's one that I didn't sign because it was for,
The water treatment
Could
plant
just
and the,
pull it out, it's in the water.
yep, and
It
the
was
water.
SRF project money, yeah.
SRF, it's, yep.
It was for interest for the PFAS water main and the PFAS water treatment plant, just interest payments of $34,000.
Because the loan hasn't come to fruition, so it's interest only.
We
But
paid
why are we
debt.
paying interest? It's a 0% loan through the SRF.
Yeah.
Right, and we
And-
paid debt
and-
last, a while
Right,
ago.
we just paid debt a couple months ago.
Yep,
Yeah, it's 0% loan with principal forgiveness, so we shouldn't pay.
And there were drawdowns, so there should be no need to borrow any money.
There should be no short-term borrowing.
So that's why I said, I wrote it on the bottom of the voucher and I didn't sign it. I don't know if anybody else did, but
nope,
so I'll venture into that realm tomorrow morning, see what I can find out, and I'll have Jen let everybody know.
Documentation for that voucher.
I got an email, whoops, wrong folder, sorry. It's an email from him with, I attached everything that he gave me. Says some debt due, some debt is water or sewer. Massachusetts clean, nope, drinking water. It is, it's clean water. Massachusetts Clean Water Trust, that would be sewer.
Clean water is
Clean water.
Yep.
drinking water.
Massachusetts Clean Water, Massachusetts Clean, and then here it has the breakdown of
It's just a
water,
spread,
water.
it's just a
Yep.
spreadsheet that he created
Yeah.
Yep, that's
that
all I
says,
have.
we owe this amount, but there's nothing
Justifying it.
justifying it.
And it's set on there for,
It says it's, Massachusetts Clean Water Trust invoices are payable to the entity, we remit, da-da-da-da. Reminder, clean water is sewer, drinking water is water department. So I have paperwork from the Clean Water Trust, but it doesn't say anything. And then I have more Massachusetts Clean Water. And then I have.
That's all the I&I stuff.
right, but we had a couple projects that weren't 0% like. the
Right,
drains.
but I have nothing
Yep.
paid, due for sewer. The only thing I have is this breakdown that says PFAS water main and PFAS treatment plant, interest only.
Okay, so there's no interest on.
There should be no interest on those, that's why,
I just
wait a
didn't know if
minute.
There was maybe interest on.
We're gonna pay $25,000 in interest on something that we shouldn't be paying interest on.
So I don't,
I don't know what he borrowed, because we had drawdowns. We saw those drawdown
I see
emails
them all. I just saw another
every
one.
month.
I just saw another one.
Winston sent a drawdown every month. The digging contractor, I don't know, he must be
Independently wealthy. 'Cause he didn't
wealthy
say-
because
Same thing with
he
another
just,
project in another town.
he
waited
held,
a year.
hold off, I think he put in 2 pay recs. but he ran, what, a mile and a half of pipe? Back and forth,
Yeah, 2 pipes.
2 pipes, a mile and a half and 2 pay racks. That's a lot of money. But, I mean, yeah, that's fine. I'm sure the state, appreciated it because they didn't have to pay it out. But in any case, all right. Superintendent's report.
As I said before, most of the report now gears towards the sewer of what's been done there, so you can read it pretty much. If you have any questions on it, a lot of work's been done, and I think we're in a better place now than we've ever been, for now.
Get on here, we'll be taking MPA tests for well 8-1, 8-2, 8-3, and combined.
Yeah, the last test came back very bad, so we're taking another one because of the drought conditions that were when we took that test. So we're allowed to take one in 6 months, a DP1 at a 6-month period, so that comes up now, we're taking that one. We think enough.
Are they even valid this time of year? I don't think you're not within a sampling window. But
No, they required it for the well because of the situation with the well, the new well in place.
Well, and you're within 50 feet of surface water.
Yeah. Anyway, the first one we did way back came back pretty good. Wasn't bad at all. This other one we did, I don't want to accept that one. That we send it to DEP. So we're giving ourselves another bite at the apple to make sure it's done better.
You said you sent it to DEP? They
No,
sent
we
it
didn't.
out?
We didn't. The first one was, but not the second one. That one came back too bad. We're the ones that send it to DEP. We've still got 6 months to send a sample in, so.
You might not want to say that in a meeting, because if you sample and you get results, you have to submit them unless you can have the lab invalidate the samples.
Yeah, well, the lab doesn't do anything with the samples, it's just for our
I'm
purposes.
saying, if you read the regulation, if you
Yeah.
sampled and you got results, you have to report them.
Yeah.
You can't just say, oh, I didn't like the results, we're not going to report.
I think we were involved with the drought we had for the last many months.
You can use that as an excuse, but you have to provide documentation.
I'm putting on a second one to see if that's the truth, the fact of the
They
matter.
won't accept this, they won't accept results on that this time of year. The whole intent of that test is, it's a mass particulate analysis.
Yeah.
They filter the water, and they look for particles of bugs, like legs and caterpillars.
Yeah, we had that.
Right, yeah, obviously, you had them in the one that you said that results. You're not gonna get them this time of year, because they're not out.
Hmm.
So they won't accept those results.
Hmm.
So you're wasting money if you run those tests now.
No,
Or
but-
wait until spring, at least you'll get a valid result that you can use.
Well, that's what they're also gonna do, is they wanna test each well off through, the engineers actually recommending, because we're looking at 4-log, if this gets into a situation, so.
Which is what I've said every time we've discussed these.
So they want to do each well separately in a certain way and send it
I
out.
don't want to do them separately.
Because we want to see which well is the most affected well.
I can understand that, but your purpose is to test them individually. You can't treat an individual well.
No, it's for our purposes to know what we're up against, since we need to know. So we know how to go forward if we're going to go in a 4-log system. So this is telling us what the ground reactions are right now. And then they're going to go through the engineers, they're going to test the 3 together, not 3 separately, and then give a report to see exactly which well is the worst well in well 8.
Well, how much does that cost to have the engineers go through this?
I don't know, we just preliminary started this now. He's looking at making some recommendations on how to do it.
So
So
the test that you did that came back with bad results was a combined test?
it was combined. This one's a combined also. This one's to tell us, what were the conditions then, what are the conditions now, and see exactly what it is. Because we had fairly decent results way back before when we took it.
Yeah, but tested now is not going to give you
It's
usable results.
Yeah.
It's a waste of money.
uh,
You can wait till spring at least.
yeah, we can wait a couple months. It's not a big deal.
But I would say you have to submit the results that you have. You can't just say I didn't like the results and not submit.
Well, I want to submit both results and see if there's an issue going on there that, I mean, remember when we did the test for the pump test, and we threw our PFAS way up over after that, it was more manageable. I mean, it's just a reaction with the surface water influence over there. it's an issue going on. We're trying to get a handle on everything together and see where we're at with everything, so we can proceed the correct way.
But the results, they spiked from starting up, you reported those, correctly?
Mm.
So you gotta report them, I mean,
Mhm.
there'll be some consequences, but, you know, same thing's gonna happen anyway, and all DEP's gonna do is make you repeat the test.
Yeah. No, this is what, I wanted to make the comparison and see, so they, everybody's aware of what's going on here. I'm curious with the levels, how they're reacting with the rainfall, with the this, that.
To meet 4 log on that well field is very simple.
Yeah.
You have way more capacity in the pipes from where it is to where the treatment plant is that you probably won't even recognize that you have chlorine in it when you get to the treatment plant and you'll meet 4 log.
Right.
Anyway, that's, anything else on the report is pretty, mostly sewer stuff.
Okay, public comments? Board comments? Bob?
How's the PFAS fight going?
So far, so good. I mean, Best as expected.
There's no,
I'm good.
no issues, or nothing needs up, like, you wish you had, that,
There's been some changes with pumps and things like that we've already been identifying, so that's helped us out. And there's issues with alarm systems, but it's calmed down a little bit, so we're working on that stuff. So, not too bad.
Okay,
I have
oh,
two things.
oh yeah, that's, okay.
Sorry. One is the lead notice that went out.
Oh, yes,
Um,
lead and copper.
yeah, a lot has been posted on social media.
Somebody
and
took
everything.
their copy of it and posted it on the bulletin board at Park and Shop.
Correct.
And somebody else who isn't even on the system took a picture of it and threw it on social media, and
We've had a lot of people calling nervous over it and everything, and just might want to state that, if there was definitely lead, you were notified, and there were very few
That's correct.
in town that were
lead,
notified.
they are going through this is an ongoing testing. They're not,
Every town in the state.
That's-
Were they social meetings bad results, or I don't see anything in social?
So-
no, it's just that general letter
There's a
that came
general
out.
letter, so now everyone is seeing it and panicking, that, oh, I have lead in my water mains, I have lead, you have lead in your water, the town has lead. So, there were only 4 residents in town that were notified that they had lead lines.
Lead service lines.
Correct.
And they were notified, and
They were notified, and they're
the
being
process
addressed.
is in the works to get those lead lines removed.
At this time,
replaced.
correct, there were only 4.
Oh, I thought you meant the lead and copper testing, not the
No,
lead
this
copper
is the,
inventory.
this is the lead service line.
Service line,
Yeah.
okay.
So the ones with lead service lines will be closed.
Not that I'm aware of.
So, okay, so, yeah, there's
They can call the office.
95% of homes have pipes that are copper. And those copper pipes are put together with solder. Solder contains a certain amount of lead.
Up until 85.
Up until 85. That simply running your water changes that every day. So you flush the toilet, water runs through the pipe, flushes the pipe out.
But the notices that went out weren't technically on the lead solder in your
No,
house.
No.
no, they're not. This
It's
is
for
to
the
talk
service
about
lines,
the
yeah.
service line.
But if you're concerned, just call the office, we'll gladly talk
Yes,
through
and
everything.
please don't get your information on social
Because
media.
I've had a lot of people panicked.
Social media is not the place to get your information. Get it here.
And then my second question came in today. It's not on the agenda, but I do think that it's something that needs to be addressed. I had a resident from Eisenhower Drive call. Concerned with they understand that the town has not accepted the road or the pump station,
Right.
and concerned with what happens if the pump station fails. And that their consensus of what they're hearing is that even if a betterment is proposed, the people on the road are not gonna accept it, so then what happens?
Not gonna accept the betterment?
Yep.
And they're responsible for the pump station.
And so what, and I said I would inquire, but I figured this is, what happens if that sewer pump station backs up, or stops working, excuse me?
Well, we would respond as an emergency situation and see and assess the issue. There's money left in the kitty from the planning board to service those pumps if need be. Right now, the 2 new pumps were put in there
That's what I told her.
from a while back, but they've been working, we've had no issues. And I know there's no town planner right now, but we're making efforts to
Correct.
have a betterment.
The real answer is the responsibility still lies on the contractor until it gets accepted.
And that's what I
And the
explained.
homeowners would have to go after the contractor.
So it's their responsibility to go after the contractor.
Right.
And how does that affect the sewer system? Does it affect the sewer system?
If it fails,
If there's, it doesn't, I said it would only, I thought it would just affect them.
yeah.
She was just curious if it would affect any other part of the sewer system.
Nope,
That's, I didn't think so, but I,
because that pump station pumps the
just them.
sewage out of that neighborhood up
Into-
the street
Right.
and into the system, into the gravity system, which then flows.
I just wanted to make sure I understood it. I
Down.
didn't say
If it
anything.
doesn't work, it helps us, we don't get their flow.
So, and I understand her concern, because she is one that would have been in favor of it. And then she was asking about costs and everything, and I said there was information proposed a while ago, but that was a couple years ago. Things can change, and I said that if a betterment were to come through the planning board with the road and a sewer pump station, that they would be given information prior to, and what the betterment would cost and everything.
I'm not sure they have a say in accepting.
And that, I was gonna ask that,
Goes on their taxes.
can they, she feels that they can deny it, I don't know.
Accepted at town meeting, like the other ones are.
If they don't accept the betterment, then the town doesn't accept the road.
That's what I said, if we
And
don't
the,
accept
and
the
the sewer plant, the sewer pump station, and it just continues to be,
Doesn't get maintained, pump station or road, and
and
it decreases the value of their house.
Okay, I just
The
wanted to make
purpose
sure,
of a betterment is because it's increasing the value of their house.
I wanted to make sure I had given correct information, and I will follow, I told her I'd speak to everybody and follow back up with correct information. Thank you.
correct. The other neighborhoods, I mean, they can talk to folks in the other neighborhoods that have gone through this with, those are road betterments. Every one of those are road betterments. They don't have anything to do with us, but it's still a betterment,
Correct, and
by the town accepting those roads.
So a betterment doesn't get accepted by the customers, it's imposed by the
It is.
municipality.
Correct, and it's voted on at town meeting, so that they would have to be a lot of, that's what
They'd have to get a lot of people to the,
I just like to double check what I'm gonna
It's
say.
not, it wasn't a whole lot of money either for that. I talked to the highway superintendent too, and that road does not need that
No.
much work at all, so we already talked about a figure in there that suits our needs and even more.
yeah.
What are you
it's
talking,
not-
20, 30,000? It wasn't really a big number.
I said to her, I didn't think it was huge amounts.
No, it wasn't.
I said, but it was a couple years ago, so I'm not even gonna.
Yeah, all those numbers would have to be pulled together, and an official number would have to be put out, but I don't think it was,
No, thank you.
they weren't big numbers.
Wasn't it like 20,000 for the pump station?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a little, that gives us some
The
cushion.
numbers outdated, I'm sure.
Yeah, but, I mean, yeah, I don't wanna really get into numbers because
That's
they
what I
have
said to her.
changed. Things have changed, but it's not big money. And when you do, how many houses are there on Eisenhower?
10,
14?
was it 14?
I'm somewhere between,
Oh.
10 and
Okay,
14,
yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
There's a dozen.
it's somewhere in there.
So, for example, then, if there's 10 houses and the total cost of accepting that road is $200,000, they'd each be accepting $20,000 betterments, which, if you spread that out over
yeah.
20 years, that's $1,000 a year. It's really not a ton of money in the grand scheme of things. I mean,
Right, no,
when the $1 million programs went through down around Lakeview and down in where my parents live, they were significant. They were significant. Those were in the millions.
For a year.
Those were in the millions. Huh?
Maybe more. So how much does it cost to plow a road for a year? More than $1,000.
Right.
yeah.
So
I don't know who even plows that road.
I
Who
didn't
hires
ask,
who?
because I didn't want to get into that.
Well, I'm sure it's not cheap. I'm sure it's a few $100 a,
Yeah. So, anyways.
Thank you, just so that
The town
that's out
bought
there
one?
and,
huh?
The town's not paying?
No.
Shouldn't be, it's not accepted.
nope.
Okay.
Chairman, make a motion to adjourn if we're all set.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.